Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Blue is the New White podcast. Today we've got a special episode for you. We have a returning guest, the man who literally found his passion in HVAC after receiving his PhD in Psychology and Neuroscience. Of course, none other than the HVAC Doctor himself, Mr. Matt Waxer, joins us. And if you haven't heard his episode on Blue is the New White, it's number 113 from January of last year. Definitely go ahead and check that out. You'll be glad that you did. Also, joined with him today is another brilliant mind in the industry, Mr. Ilya Martinovich, or as you probably know him on Instagram, the HVAC Foodie, joins us. This episode was recorded in my home studio, so it might look and sound just a little different, but it does not take away from the incredible conversation about the value of working with our hands, the importance of the skilled trades as a whole, and many, many wonderful perspectives on parenthood and the pursuit of success. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and on our website at blueisthenewwhite.com to receive all the latest updates. You can now find this podcast on iHeartRadio, SiriusXM, and Pandora. As always, we rely on word of mouth from our listeners to further the mission. So if you enjoy this episode, please do me a favor, take a moment to rate it, review it, and share it. The future generations of tradespeople depend on it. They depend on you. So thank you again and enjoy this episode of Blue is the New White with Matt and Ilya, the HVAC Doctor and the HVAC Foodie, respectively. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Blue is the New White podcast. Coming to you today from my home office. As you can tell, this is not the correct background, but it'll have to do. And we are testing out this episode today to see how it works, but I've got the perfect two guests to test it out with. We have Matt Waxer, the HVAC Doctor, returning, coming back on the show. Matt, welcome back, my friend.
Thank you for having me back, Josh. It's awesome to be back. I've got a lot to get caught up on, and I'm lucky enough to be joined by someone I consider to be not only a brother, best friend, confidant. Man, we're in store for a treat with my buddy Ilya here tonight. It's going to be an absolute blast.
Oh, that's awesome. Ilya, man, welcome to the show, bud.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, I'm really excited to and this worked out really well too. Me introducing Matt, introducing you. We should do this more often. But no, this is fantastic. I appreciate you both coming on and spending your valuable time with me today. I know it's hard to find time like this, so much appreciated. And so, Matt, why don't we start just kind of bird's eye view? If you want to know more about Matt and his story, it's a really great episode. Go back, check it out. I want to say it was about, a year and a half ago now, a year ago?
I think it was about a year ago that I was lucky enough to come on your show, and I think we covered about an hour, 40 minutes probably. So for those that want the Coles Notes version of that show without having to sit through listening to me go on and on and on. So my name's Matt Waxer. I'm a licensed 313A refrigeration air conditioning system mechanic, also a licensed gas fitter level 1, meaning I can work on any BTU input to an appliance. My Instagram handle is the HVAC Doctor, and all aspects of that handle are actually true. So the is kind of self-explanatory, but HVAC, yeah, I HVAC. I HVAC for a living. And the doctor part, well, that's also true as well. I spent 14 years in post-secondary education getting a PhD in psychology and neuroscience, specializing in developmental cognitive neuroscience. And most people kind of raise an eyebrow when they hear that aspect of it and go, well, why are you in HVAC? Exactly. And the Coles Notes version is partway through my research career, getting my PhD. There was a fundamental shift in the actual work structure of academia, and it basically caused a position where I wouldn't have a job in that field unless I wanted to travel far, far away. Not something I wanted to do. Getting married, starting a family. I needed to find something else. I'd always worked in the skilled trades. It just took me a while to find HVAC, find refrigeration, find what I do. And man, do I love it, because I get to meet great people like you, Josh, and also my best buddy, from HVAC brother from another mother that we got here, right out in my backyard. I am so blessed to know Ilya, and I'm so blessed that and happy that he was able to come on here with us today.
I appreciate that, Matt. That's going to be hard to follow. Definitely. I'm same as Matt. I am a 313A refrigeration mechanic and a G1 gas fitter. So that's about the only thing that we have in common, other than HVAC techs. Other than that, he's got me licked on the doctor part.
You got me licked on the food.
He's got us all licked on the doctor part, man. Don't worry about it. Hey, you guys have similar beards, so you got that going for you too.
Well, the funny thing is, people starting to get us mixed up. So the more we hang out, the more we start to look alike. So that's going to be a problem.
Especially when they wear that the same glasses and same manufacturer hat.
There you go.
Oh, jeez.
So let's see. My journey into HVAC. Let's see. My whole life, I've always been in, I will say, the trades, working with my father, who's a master carpenter. Working my whole life with him. Hockey didn't work out for me, like every Canadian boy's dream. So at the end of my last year of high school, I kind of turned to my dad and say, "Hey, hockey didn't work out. What do you think I should do?" And we sat down and had a good heart to heart, and we looked at a whole bunch of trades. And it came down to tool and die and HVAC. And I just felt that there was more of a demand. There will be more of a need for HVAC. Not that there's a demand for tool and die, let's say, but that's something that can turn to computer automation, and a lot of AI and a lot of machinery can do the work. So HVAC it was. So did 3 years of college, got hired on by a manufacturer my third year, and 25 years later, I'm still with them. So that's my journey into the trade.
That's awesome. So what age did you have that conversation that, hey, hockey's not going to work out. I'm looking for something else.
Oh, that was 17 or 18 years old.
Okay.
I know. Let's see now, because we used to have 5 years of high school in Canada. Now my son is 16. He's turning 17. So yeah, I would have been 17, 18 years. Just almost turning 18. That's what it would have been. Almost turning 18.
And how did that conversation go? I mean, your dad, lifelong tradesman, right? From what you've been saying. I mean, how did that conversation between you two play out?
It was really easy. It was real simple. It was like, okay, this didn't work out, and now it comes down to, okay, selecting your courses. Well, first of all, college or university, right? So I didn't have the marks for university. That was it. I was never a desk guy. Like I can do the work, but sitting behind a desk, it just wasn't me. Like auto shop, yes. Woodworking, yes. You know what I mean? Anything like that, yeah, excelled at. But doing the paperwork, the studying, I could do it and understood it, but I was just, I'm gonna say it, lazy. It didn't intrigue me, right?
Yeah.
So turning to my dad, I said, okay, well, I don't have the marks for university. I have the marks for college, community college. And it kind of just sat down and said, all right, well, what's out there, right? I know there's carpentry, plumbing, electrical, all that stuff. And we kind of sat there and said, okay, well, let's pick a trade or look at a trade that there's going to be a demand for always, right? Or a high demand for. And one of the things was HVAC, heating and ventilation, air conditioning. And we looked at it, filled out the application and the course requirements, and I started in September. It was a 3-year program, and I excelled at it. I won an award my third year, Carrier Canada Award. I won that, and it was awesome. I applied for this job at this manufacturer. They came in and did an interview and did one back up in their factory, and they hired me. They basically said, "When can you start?" I'm like, "Give me 2 weeks to find a car, and I'm there." And so that was the end of it. May 4th, 1998, my first day.
That is
first
awesome.
Day into the king of the trades.
There you go.
That's fantastic. So what is it that you loved about it? Like what hooked you? because I mean, you said your dad was a carpenter, right?
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, what was it that you loved about the HVAC, and
I'll tell you the truth. I didn't know anything about it other than heating, ventilation, air conditioning. I know that warm air is coming out of the floor, and cold air is coming out of the floor, right? Everything I learned about HVAC was in those first 3 years of college. Well, I shouldn't say everything. My first initiation into the HVAC trade was those first 3 years of college. I did not know what a psychrometrics chart, compressor, superheat, subcooling, liquid line, all that stuff. That was all new to me. And I think that's what got me the most, is because, okay, it was something I was learning that I was interested in, right? And it caught me right off the bat. So that's what it was. Other than that, I didn't know anything about it until I started my first year of college.
So let me get this straight. You're not a neuroscientist.
Nope.
Okay. But no. Matt, you are.
Maybe in a previous life.
Unbelievable. No, I love stories like that, man, because, I feel like there's a ton of kids out there, right, that don't know that this path exists. And if they do know that it exists, they don't feel comfortable taking it, right? I think you had a bit of a leg up, Ilya, because your dad was already in a trade, right? So he kind of, I guess it's better posed as a question. I don't want to make any assumptions. When he talked about the trades, would he talk to you about the opportunities that were in them? Did he heed warnings to you about them? How did he speak to you about the trades?
Okay, so growing up, it was never told that you were going to go into the trades, or you have to be a lawyer, you don't have to be a doctor. It was always like, as every parent, they want the best for their kid, right?
Yeah.
And so it's one of those things where if I followed in his footsteps, he would be happy. And if I didn't follow his footsteps and did something else, right, he'd be happy as well, as long as I was happy. And so it was never a discussion. It was always, do what's going to make you happy, but understand that there's no other better feeling. Like, I mean, that when you're able to do something and accomplish something with your hands and everything like that, it's a different feeling. And any office worker probably has the same thing. They've sold a big job or won a big law case or something. It goes across the whole spectrum of any job, right? But it was never you're going to be this or you're going to be this. All right. Obviously, they always wanted the best, and he said, well, if you're going to be a carpenter, you're going to be a carpenter. If you're going to be this, you're going to be this. But understand there are positives and negatives to every job out there, right? And so going back to what he's saying and always working with him on his projects at home and doing stuff around the house. Now, it was always renovations. So we were doing that. And so putting that together, and me not being the best class, it was just a natural fit. I was drawn towards it, right? And so when that opportunity came, or that time to make that decision about, okay, what am I going to do for the rest of my life, right? That it was an easy conversation to have. You just sat there and say, hey, you're going to have to do something that you're going to be happy with and you are going to succeed in. And that one of the things I realized after probably about 20 years, I don't wake up in the morning saying, oh, I have to do this. I get to do this. You know what I mean? Yeah. I get to do this. I get to go up and I get to go on a roof and I get to go do this and I get to see this equipment fire up and I get to troubleshoot and blah, blah, blah. It's a passion, right? And nowadays, if you don't have that passion, it doesn't matter the job. But if you don't have that passion, forget it. You are not going to succeed. And I think the biggest problem now is, and hopefully it's starting to turn around a little bit, but this blue collar, this trade was given such a black eye and put down. Oh, you're a trade guy. You're this. Oh, you're going to be a plumber. You're going to play with other people's crap or this. You know what I mean? It was put down, but it's so funny that people have moved. There's a generation that moved away from trades. And if you go look at that generation now, they're the guys in the aisle in the Home Depot trying to do it themselves, right? So it to me, it's interesting, the evolution, but we have to bring it back and make blue collar great again, if you will. You know what I mean? We have to. You have to be. I mean, we have such a shortage of tradespeople up here that it's really, really sad that it's given such a black eye or spoken low of. It's the worst. It's the worst. And there was one thing that my father always said. He goes, "It doesn't matter. You wear that suit. That outfit. Your blue collar with pride. It doesn't matter." And it's funny because I've had many situations, a couple times, where I'm going somewhere and I still have my blue collar shirt on. And are you going to change? No. Why? Why would I have to change? Well, you come from work.
Aren't I still wearing one?
Yeah, there you go.
No time to get out of it.
Yeah. No, I'm wearing my blue collar. People want to look down on me. They have no idea who I am. And I don't care. I'm wearing that. That's it. There's no difference between my outfit and the guy wearing a suit. We're both working, doing what we love, and that's it. And I honestly, I wear my uniform with pride when I go out. I'm not ashamed one bit that I have a blue collar or it's dirty or whatever. It doesn't matter to me. I can do something that 95% of the other people in the world can't.
You work on stuff that 95% of the
and
people in the world don't get to work on.
Yeah. So I can care less. I can care less what people think about my color, the color of my collar. I really could care less.
That's fantastic, man. Where the hell have you been hiding this guy? This is pure gold, man. No,
I told you. I told you, Josh, I was bringing something special.
No, but that resonates, man.
You have to have pride in what you do. And I tell you, man, it's when people turn to you and say, "Hey, how do you do this?" Right? Because they know that your stuff. There's one form of your success there. You know what I mean? Yeah. There's some success there. I've done something and people, maybe they don't respect me and maybe they talk behind my back, but hey, they did come to me for help and I was able to help them, get them out of a jam. That's the best thing I can do. That's the best feeling.
You pay it forward, get them out of that jam without any expectation of anything back.
Yeah, exactly.
You're paying it forward just to help out the community. And I know you do that in spades, brother. I try to do my best part to do that. I know Josh does that in what he's doing with the podcast as well. And I'm going to steal your words out of your mouth, what you're about to say. It's birds of a feather. We're cut from the same cloth, brother.
Yep. 100%. 100%.
I like to say that we do today what others won't, so we can have tomorrow what others can't.
Yep.
Right. And
100%.
It's just, and I think that, listen, Matt, I believe you and I had this conversation, right? But to your point, Ilya, there's been a marketing problem, right? This generation, the previous generation that you were talking about that kind of looks down on the blue collar trades. It's a marketing problem, right? We're not putting in a spotlight the things that we need to put in a spotlight collectively as an industry. We haven't, right? Not in quite some time, not since the values changed of these generations. And what I mean by that is, safety, security, the value of working with your hands, obviously, that kind of faded once people understood that they could feed their family with what they think is just their brain, right? And they don't have to use these anymore, which is ridiculous because, as you both know, there's value in both. And especially being able to use both, which is what tradespeople do. But what I'm trying to say with the values is that people don't understand in this day and age what all we're responsible for as tradespeople, what we can accomplish, how we can help people, right? And you use the analogies like, listen, we don't fix toilets as a plumber, right? We bring the good water in and take the bad water out, right? We sustain life that way. As pavers, we don't pave roads, we connect cities, we connect people with one another. These are the narratives that, if said just a little bit differently, can generate such intrigue by this generation that, I mean, we wouldn't have a shortage, right? We just need to speak the language.
We need to flip as the cool kids say now, on them, right? We have to flip the Uno card on them, right? We have to make it what sounds bad be good. You know what I mean? Then and what you say, connecting cities. That's it. That's exactly it. So I told my son, I said, if you ever need anybody to come in and like to talk trades, like because I know in his grade 9, they're supposed to do a take your kid to work thing in grade 9, and they missed that because of COVID. And so he's in auto shop now. And I said, if you ever need someone to come in and talk trades, I'm there. I'm there, because it is, we need to expand. We need to advertise, because these kids, they do not know the potential that they have to work in a trade. You know what I mean? They've been unfortunately so brainwashed that that's looked down upon, that it hurts. It hurts to when you see that, when the rate of people getting into this trade is so low. Not this trade, any trade is so low. It's like, what do you think is what happen when you're going to need to do something or something fixed? Like, who are you going to turn to? The trades are what make the cities run. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, we shape civilization, man. There's no other way to put it.
Sir, if there isn't people like, our friend Pat Finley fixing commercial kitchen equipment, where are you getting that pizza from when you're sitting at home trying to find your next job? When your house is hot, when your office space is hot or cold, people like Ilya and I are there to make sure that you get the proper comfort, cooling, proper heating, proper ventilation, proper airflow. It's an industry that is never going to be without a need for people. Oh, yeah. And I think Ilya, going back to earlier in what he was saying, having those epiphany moments where you find something that piques your interest academically, in those early stages of education, where it actually piques your interest and you want to go learn about it, that's critical for a young child to actually have something that they're interested in, want to go learn more about. So for Ilya, like, once he had that switch turned on and he's like, this is actually interesting. It's just full steam ahead.
Yep.
Let's go see how far we can take this. And man, like, the sky's the limit.
It's so funny. I think it's with any job. Okay. Not necessarily the trades, but it's when you do something and then all of a sudden it's like, that was really easy. I really understood that. Like, and it almost comes like a second language or like a first language, let's say, or it just comes so naturally to you. You're like, okay, this is it. Like, you found your calling. And the word to get out to anybody listening is, don't give up. Don't, like, look at Matt. Matt spent 14 years doing that. He wasn't doing it, right? And he's found his calling now. It's never too late. It is never too late. Do not give up on anything. Do not. I mean, yes, I've seen many situations where someone went out and got their law degree, and they turned around on graduation day and said, "Okay, Mom, Dad, here's your law degree. I'm going to go do something I want to do now." You know what I mean? Because their parents put, "You're going to be a lawyer. You're going to be a lawyer. Great. Here, I'm a lawyer for you. Now I'm going to go do something for me." So don't ever give up on that. You know what I mean? You may come down at one point and say, "You know what? This is just not for me." And I don't think there's been one day in my 25 years that I've said, "This is not for me." And so I think that's what keeps me going. And I don't know, maybe another 15 years and then that'll be it for me. But
just into a different avenue. You're off the tools, but just into a different avenue.
Yeah.
I mean,
and one thing
I wanted.
Sorry, go ahead, Elliot. And then I want to hit on something.
I love teaching.
Yeah.
I love teaching. I mean, I put on training seminars left and right. I was teaching actually in the community college that I graduated from. I taught there for almost 10 years, night school, just because I loved giving back so much, being able to, that knowledge that I had, to go give it back to these young people coming up and wanting to get into this trade. I said, okay, this is our future. I mean, I'm not the smartest person. I'm not the best person, but I can give them this knowledge that I have. And if they succeed, so that's one thing that I always look at is if get off on a good foot and are able to provide for their family. And I've been a part of that.
That's an awesome contribution. And queuing back to your line of not the smartest guy, don't sell yourself short there, brother. I said on the previous show I did with Josh, I met some smart people in a previous career path, but man, the smartest people I know, hands down, are in the trades. And brother, you're one of those guys. Never sell yourself short.
Trust me.
Because you're one of those smart guys that I aspire to be like, and I look up to, man.
Now you're making me blush, and I got to go get a.
the bromance continues.
The bromance continues. But your Celsius is showing.
I did want to hit on one thing, though. We'll get to that in a minute. But I did want to hit on one thing. We've been talking about how we need a fundamental shift and change in the way that youth think about the skilled trades. And we've been kind of alluding to it, but a fundamental shift in the way that parents think about their children going into the skilled trades, because we're all parents here. We all have kids. And I know Ilya has the proper mindset regarding this. My mindset regarding individuals going into the skilled trades is do it. If that's where you're going to find happiness and success, do it. If your path and interest is in something other, something, say, like being a medical doctor, being a veterinarian, being a lawyer, there's a different path you need to take to get to there. However, if your interest is in the skilled trades, parents need to change their mindset away from thinking that this is something less than. This is a career path that is so rewarding and has so many different avenues for people to go down on the tools, off the tools, owning a business, working for, wholesale, working as tech support, working in colleges. There are so many avenues that even once someone is, say, done on the tools, their career isn't done in the trades. There's so much for them to continue to give. We got to change that parental mindset as well.
Oh, yeah.
On top of the kids.
Oh, yeah, 100%, Matt. And another thing about the trade is get to meet people like you guys. So there you go.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Networking in our industry and meeting like-minded people that can support each other through things like trying to figure out where do we get all these people to, restock where we need them to. Josh, as a business owner, I know he's going to be looking for technicians just to continue to grow his business. He needs them out in the field servicing the equipment that his company, services. Where I work, we need more technicians. Where Ilya works, they need more technicians. And guys, gals, everybody, if you think that you can find success and happiness in the skilled trades, jump in, do it. You're in for a lifelong journey that is going to be so rewarding. You put in that time, work, and effort, and it pays back tenfold.
Yeah.
Just try it.
Just try it. Exactly. Yeah. Just
you don't like it? Fine. You've tried. You'll never go back and say, you know what? I should have did this. I should have that. Yeah. Just try it. Yeah. Even, co-ops in school and stuff like that. I know when I was in high school, it was in grade 9, I took auto shop. It was all guys. Grade 10, all guys. And by the time I got, there were some girls in it, and it was great. It was awesome to see, because you're like, okay, there are other people that want to learn. And the girls that were in there, they knew their stuff. They got right in there, and you're like, okay, you gave it a shot. You know what? If you walk out of here knowing how to change a tire or a filter, and that's the only thing that you learned, you know what? You're saving yourself $200 every trip to, the local place to change oil or your tires. So it was good. It was good to see that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And listen, I think this is a good segue conversation. You know, we had a sidebar before the episode started, you know, about a conversation that you had, Ilya, with your son about the skilled trades.
Right.
You know, and so I'd like to, well, number one, my curiosity is peaking, obviously, because everyone's just been saying, hey, you had this conversation, but nobody actually told me what the hell it was. So I'm super curious about it. And, you know, also I think coming on the heels of this conversation is a perfect setup, you know, to kind of go into this a little bit.
So my son is 16. He's in grade 11. And at no point ever did my wife and I ever say that you have to be a lawyer, you have to be this, you have to be that. Do something that you're going to be happy doing. Okay. And, you know, that you're going to enjoy, that you can enjoy your life doing. And all through, I'm going to say up to maybe 2 weeks ago, I want to be a lawyer. Maybe I want to be a teacher. Maybe I want to do this. It was all the white collar trades or collar jobs. And at no point did I say, no, you're going to follow in my footsteps. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. I said, you want to be a lawyer? Okay. Know what you have to do. Know what you have to do in class. Know what you have to do, what classes you're going to have to take. And let's work on that. You want to be a teacher? Okay. I mean, when he was in grade 10, his career path, he changed, I think, 3 times. Went from a lawyer to a teacher to a pediatric doctor. You know, it was all over the place. A week ago or so, he came to me, Dad, I'm in auto shop. I'm like, cool. How do you like it? He's like, oh my God, it's the first class in 2.5 years that I'm actually taking notes. I'm like, okay, well, I kind of knew that first part, and I'm not sure how you made it through all those 2.5 years without taking notes, but we're just gonna leave it at that. But he's like, I look forward to going to school every day just for that auto class. And he's taking a cooking class as well, and cooking. I'm like, awesome. You know, be careful when you're in there. Listen to the instructions, what the teacher says, you know, be smart. Don't do anything stupid. You know, don't fool around with the tools. He's like, Dad, you don't understand. I think I want to get into a trade. And when he told me that, I was like, wow. Right. I was like, okay, control yourself. But it's because I never pushed him. No one's ever pushed him. For him to come to that realization, it was like, okay, whatever you want to do, I'm going to support you. So we actually sat down on a car ride home, and we pulled over and we went through every trade: carpenter, plumber, plumber, carpenter, electrician, sheet metal, you know, controls guy, let's say. And I left carpentry. I said carpentry, everything like that. And I said, I don't want to influence him in any way. I just leave that one to the end. And we went through everything, and he's like, oh, welding sounds cool. I said, all right, you know, this is what's involved with welding. There's fabrication type of welding. There's, you know, on-site construction welding, this and that. So he was so intrigued, and he was like, oh, with my hands. I've always liked to work with my hands. He builds Lego like crazy and stuff like that. And he goes, I've never been so interested in anything right now. You know what I mean? In a trade. And man, it was the most amazing father-son talk. I can only imagine it's probably what my dad felt when I was having that conversation with him, right? So to have it go through 2 generations like that, it was really, really cool. I mean, it brings a tear to my eye now, even thinking about it now. But so we had this conversation. So now we've talked about, okay, is there apprenticeships? You know, can we do a co-op and stuff like that to get him more into it? But that whole realization of him coming by himself that he wants to get into a trade was awesome. And I even told him, I said, you know, if you need someone to come in and talk about trades, I will. But it was the happiest piece of news I heard in probably 5 to 6 years when he came and told me that he was interested in getting a trade. And I was like, yeah, man, I got your back. No matter what, I got your back. So that is the story.
That's awesome. What a great story. I have to ask, is there any predictions you have as to what trade he's going to end up in?
Sorry, you cut out there for a second.
Yeah. So do you have any predictions as to what trade he's going to end up in?
I have no idea. I have no idea because, again, it could change any second. He was really he likes the idea of welding. So that was cool. He said maybe electrician. So I gave him, told him all about electrician. And I even told him about my trade. Finally, near the end, I finally told him about what's involved in my trade. And I told him why it's called the king of the trades, because we need to know a little bit of everything: electrical, plumbing, carpentry, sheet metal, air balance, and all that stuff. So he was, he listened intently, but hold on a second. So have you picked a trade yet? He's standing right here. Well, have you picked a trade yet? He's still looking into it.
We're getting a live update here.
But,
that's cool.
Yeah, there's no preconceived notion. I said, you still have another year of high school. A lot of things can change, but look into everything you possibly can. Learn as much as you can about, and you need to make a decision, and just know that try it for a year. If it doesn't work, we do something else. No problem. So that was it.
And the nice thing about your son being so young, getting an interest in the skilled trades right now, let's say his interest does end up being in, say, welding.
Yep.
And he does pursue a full welding career and get a red seal in welding.
Right.
And then he's at the young enough of an age that if he wants to add another trade to his repertoire, he has all the time in the world. Yeah. Like, he'll still be younger than I was when I broke into the trade. He be 2-3 red seals by the time he gets to my age when I broke into the industry.
And I'm going to toot his horn now. I'm not sure but he is really smart.
The apple don't fall too far from the tree, brother.
He is like unbelievably smart. Like, there's stuff that he comes out of his mouth, and the way he thinks logically, I could see him doing that, Matt, knocking out 2, maybe 3 trades, having gone through 2 of them, and having a red seal or a license in all of them. I could really see him doing that.
That'd be awesome if that's where he's going to find his happiness and success.
I mean, he may cut his finger in auto shop next week and say, nope, that's.
There'll be plenty of finger cuts and burns in what we do. Didn't someone have a pizza dropped on him?
A couple times, yeah. And actually, it's so funny too, because kitchen equipment's my forte, just like Pat. And I remember coming home once, and I had a bolt branded into my arm because it was hot. It was on the backside of the oven. You could still see the 3 letters in the bolt on my arm. But hey, that shit happens, man. And you know what? We're better for it. I mean, we really are. I mean, I love having those experiences, being able to tell those stories, and and there's some other stuff I'm sure that we've seen too that's pretty gnarly. But the other thing you said, Ilya, that he was interested in is cooking, right? So here
you cut out there again. What was that? Sorry.
Oh, no problem. I was going to say he's interested in cooking too.
Yes.
Which is going to lead me to your Instagram handle.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So why don't you tell us what that Instagram handle is?
But before we get there, just to interject shortly, cooking up here in Canada is also another red seal trade. So to integrate that into that handle, father son, we have potentially one foodie, and we have the HVAC Foodie here. So let you load that one back in the chamber there, Josh, and ask the question you were going for there.
That's exactly right. Tell me about it, man.
Okay, so actually, so the story of it is this. Back in 2020, I experienced the bottom line is I had bladder cancer. And so to help me get through the internet and reading about bladder cancer, I said, okay, I did have an Instagram page, a personal one. I said, you know what? I'm not going to, I deleted that one. I'm going to start something new, something where I can expand, meet people and stuff like that. So it was first called HVAC and Food. And it was basically just, yeah, I'm going to post some pictures of HVAC, some stuff I cook, maybe some places that I go out and eat, see if I can network and just to keep me busy, as an outlet. And it is what it is. Fast forward probably about, that was in February. So fast forward probably about to May or June. And I walk onto a job site, Mr. Matt Waxer standing there. And I didn't know who he was. And the first thing that caught my eye was on his hard hat, he had the HVAC know-it-all sticker. And so I said, okay. So I go, you're on Instagram, this and that. He's like, oh yeah, I'm the HVAC doctor. I'm like, oh man, yeah, I've seen some of your posts because he actually worked on some of the equipment that I
lies. He was
on.
just being nice.
And so we got to talking, and I said, yeah, I'm on there. He goes, are you on there? And I'm on there, so on and so forth. And he said, oh, okay, I've seen that. And so he mentioned just down the street from there is a place called the Copper Kettle, and they have the most amazing apple fritters.
Oh yeah.
And so we became best friends. The next day, I actually brought a whole bunch, and Matt and I have been best friends since. And so if you look at...
Started with HVAC and then bonded over some fritters.
There you go. So if you look at the way Matt has his handle, it's at the _HVAC _doctor. Mm-hmm. And I actually talked to him and I say, hey, Matt, I'm thinking of changing my name, something a little bit more catchy. And I was thinking, how about at the _HVAC _foodie? He's like, yep, do it. So the HVAC foodie was really born by meeting Matt of apple fritters. So that's how the HVAC foodie was. Yeah, that's the God honest truth. That's how the HVAC foodie evolved from HVAC and food to the HVAC foodie. And I just thought, you know what a better there's no better other combination than HVAC and food. So I decided I'm going to post some pictures and some stuff that I cook and stuff like that. And we ended up, and you know what? I can't believe that a simple thing like that, bumping into Matt, has led me into meeting you and so many other people that I've met. And it's really helped me get through some really hard times. And Matt, we've met off-site, so vent to him and talk to him about some stuff, and he's been a real rock for me. So that's I have a lot to be thankful for Instagram and meeting Matt.
And likewise,
so, yeah,
unbelievable.
I know you're exactly there for me. It's the same way. I've vented frustrations and other things, and Ilya's just been there as a friend, as a brother, just to listen and offer just down to earth great advice. It's a mutual back and forth. It's a friendship that I'm so lucky to have.
Oh, buddy.
And it's a testament to the people in these industries, man. I'm telling you, you guys both know. Some of the best people that I've ever met, have come from these industries. And I think because
I bumped into Matt and it was like, you do HVAC? Yeah. Do we just become best friends? Yep. You know what I mean?
Seal it with a fritter and we're done.
That's it. No, it's fantastic. And you know what I think it is too, is I think that there's this mutual understanding and there's a mutual respect immediately, right? Because you're familiar with not only the type of work that you do, but you have to have certain qualities in these industries in order to perform that work. Right. Yeah. So when Matt tells you he's the HVAC doctor, that he's a hard worker, that, he's smart, that, he cares, he likes to serve.
Yep.
Right. And so you've got all these things in common right away. And so it makes this easy bridge to a friendship, which is what I've found. This is the 141st episode, I think, or 140th episode that I've done on this show. And I've kept in touch with every single guest that I've ever had. And it's because it's because, I mean, the best people in the world come out of these industries, you know.
You just have just great, down to earth, genuine conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you know, you're the same. You're the same. Like all the plumbers, they stick together because they're plumbers. All the HVAC guys stick together because we're all HVAC. We know everything there is, right? And I was so like meeting Matt. It was the luckiest thing ever. But to sit down and this story, okay, of going through for neuroscience and then coming to this trade, you just want to sit there and like, holy man, is this of, you know, you do not have to follow any footsteps. You got to do what you got to do. And I've told his stories to so many people. My kids know it. Like my family knows it. I was like, you do not have to be a doctor to be happy. I mean, just do what you want. And here's a perfect example, you know. So yeah, we're joined at the hip now, and we're starting to look alike. And yeah, there you go.
You just got to do that 14 years of post-secondary education, end up with a cool Instagram handle.
That's what it was all about. Eh?
The sacrifice was well worth it.
Oh, screw that, man. I'm just going to go to one of those mall kiosks and get my chiropractor's license. I'll be basically the same thing, bro.
Beautiful. Done. Dr. Zolan at your service.
Dr. Blue is the new white to you. But
exactly.
No, that's so wonderful. And I mean, what a great story. A lot of good stories already on this show. I mean, you know, with you and your son, Ilya, and the way that you guys met. And Ilya met, you know, I mean, just unbelievable. And, you know, it just, this is why I have this show, right? Because this is the kind of stuff that I want people to see, that I think that we all need people to see. Like, this is the kind of stuff that happens in the industry. It's not all busting knuckles and, you know, getting screamed at and having to have thick skin. And obviously that's part of it sometimes, but this is the real, this is the raw, right? This is what people are missing when they're being pushed and forced into other careers that they may not even want to do, right? Other education that they may not even want to have, right? I've always said it's the right education for the right individual. And if we could just adopt that as parents, teachers, counselors, and everybody else, I mean, how much better off would not only the trades be, right, but the people in them? I mean, just...
It trickled to every industry, right?
Every single one.
People wouldn't be forced into, you know, in somebody's book, they mentioned something about some stereotypic mold. And yeah, unfortunately, that still exists and is still entrenched in the thought pattern of how people ought to go from school to college, university, what have you. You don't have to. Trust me, I've been there.
Yep.
Yes, you have. For quite some time, might I add.
For a hot minute or two, right?
A hot minute or two. No, really, really great stuff, guys. And Ilya, you know, before we wrap this up, I can't let this go another 2 hours like last time. I got to put my kids to bed. But I am curious, Ilya, if you're okay talking about it. You know, you had mentioned, you know, bladder cancer.
Yep.
And I mean, geez. Number one, that sounds super hard. Are you okay now? I mean,
oh yeah. So everyone out there, so the minute you see blood in your urine, don't hesitate. Go right to the hospital. Okay, it's not time to be a man. Okay, go to the hospital right away. Get it checked out, because I will tell you, 3 hours later, when I got home, I did not urinate blood again. Didn't go to the hospital. I could have been saying, oh, you know what? That was just some fluke. So that's my PSA. If you do see blood in your urine, go right. Been clear now just over a year. And so now I have to do checkups, right? It's good. I'm good, clear, but this trade and the people, I'll tell you, the trade and the people and going to work every day is what saved me from going nuts. I'll tell you that. And from, just worrying to death about it. People that I met that that made me get through this.
How many people can say that about their career? I mean, that's fucking amazing. I mean, you just attributed, you being able to keep a great attitude and work through your cancer to the trade, the work, and the people in it.
Yeah.
I mean, that speaks volumes, Ilya. I mean, that really, really does. I'm really glad that you shared that. I appreciate it. And,
Oh, yeah.
I think that should resonate with a whole lot of people out there. If you've taken nothing else away from this episode, which, I mean, you should have, but if you've taken nothing else away, take that away. At least let it raise an eyebrow, right? And just say, wait a second. I just heard what he just said, and there's probably 1% of people that would attribute would give that attribution. I mean, unbelievable.
I like I said, I'll say it again. I'll just repeat it, and I hate repeating myself, but if it was not for the people at my work and in my trade, I don't know how I would have made it through it. I don't know how. And going to work every day, loving my job and pushing myself to go to work instead of sitting at home and stressing out and stuff like that is what made me get through it. No doubt about it.
That's fantastic. All right, we're going to move to close, but before we do, I've got one question for both of you. And Matt, you know what this is. Ilya, Matt told you what this is. We're going to give you, Ilya, another second to think about it. I'm going to let Matt go first, as if you haven't been stewing over it for the last 3 or 4 days. But
maybe weeks. I kind of set him up well before.
Nice, Matt. How do you define success?
So for those that want to go back to a 2-hour-long episode and fast forward to the end, you'll have my definition of success. It really hasn't changed much since that episode. Really, success for me in this industry is being able to help others and make connections with good, solid people like Ilya, people like yourself, Josh. There's so many good people. Like, I can't name. If I started naming people, we'd be here for another 5 hours. It would be unfair to try to put a list together. There are so many great people in this industry, so many people that want to help and continue to help. And that is what makes me happy. That's what gives me success, is things like that.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. And I love that answer. We talk about it all the time, right? And I probably should have set this up, but my listeners know the drill, right? And for you, Ilya, I talk a lot about success, right? I talk a lot in my book, on the show, about how people define success differently. And not only do they define success differently, but it changes, right? And so to ask somebody when they're 18 years old or 16 years old or whatever, to tell you what they see as success in another 20 years is just, I don't like the term fair or unfair, but it's not, it won't paint the right picture. So, that's the reason I asked the question. And I think it's fair to note too, that everybody on the show has come on and given such a wonderful definition of what success is. And I think maybe 1 or 2 guests out of 140 have ever said money. Now, I haven't heard your answer yet, so
money.
Good, because that was my first no response. No, just kidding. What you think is success is based on the person, obviously. My father always used the line, your success is my, okay. So, and I've taken from that, and Matt said it right as well. If I'm able, or if we're able to help someone out and help them succeed, there's no better feeling. When I was teaching night school, and I would bump into students and they say, oh man, thank you so much for telling me this, or how to do this, or how to approach this, or look for a job. I got a job because I did what you suggested. That to me is that's it. I mean, pay it forward, as Matt said. One of my favorite things is just helping whoever I can. And I will get a phone call. I'm on the roof and I can be in the middle of a crap storm. And if I can answer that and help someone and help them succeed on their end, that's it, man. I can't explain it. It's giving back. It's giving back and helping anybody open their eyes about anything. And if I'm a small portion of that, where they've, let's put it this way, even now, anybody that's going to listen to this, and I've convinced them even to consider a trade, great. That's it. If they're willing to listen to my story or Matt's story, and they're even contemplating going into a trade, we did our job for tonight. You know what I mean? That's
100%.
it. Because there's any way you can just help someone out, that's success, man. That is success in my eyes.
Man, well said.
Houses, monies, all that stuff,
come and go.
That's nothing. That's nothing.
Yeah.
But someone saying thank you, I appreciate you, that's great, man. That's great.
Man, that's some powerful words, man. No, that's awesome. I appreciate you sharing that, and I think that's going to resonate, really, really well with our listeners, our viewers, and certainly everybody on this call, because I respect that a lot, Ilya. I got to say,
I appreciate that, and
yeah. So anyway, that's about all we've got for tonight. But before we hop off, number one, I want to give each of you a chance to interject anything that we didn't cover. And if you don't have anything, that's fine too. But just wanted to make sure before we put a bow on this that we got all of your thoughts, ideas, opinions out. My guess is this is not going to be the last time we do this, because there is so much to cover, and you two are people that I could sit and talk to for 6 hours at a time, but I don't know that my listeners would like to.
Our family members might interject more than a few times. This time I didn't have nachos brought down to me, but we'll work on that later, right?
Yeah, right.
My son's dying to play his video games behind me, so there you go.
So he's like, get off. No.
Yeah. Enough trade talk.
No, that's awesome. I really appreciate it, guys. So where can people find you?
Matt, go ahead first.
So you can find me on LinkedIn under my name, Matthew Waxer. You can find me on TikTok under the HVAC Doctor. TikTok's kind of my neglected social media child. And where you're going to find me the most is on Instagram at _HVAC_Doctor. And for people that follow my account, thank you. For those that see the content that pops up on my account and realize the kind of equipment I work on and have reached out for assistance on it, I'm here to help. It's part of paying back to the industry. It's here to help. Whatever you need, drop me a DM. I try to check it on the hour. It's gotten a little bit busier lately due to certain things that happen. But for those that need help, I'm here. I'm here for you.
I don't know about you, Matt, but there's a high. There's a little bit of a high when you can help someone out to get them out of a bind. Even 2 sentences. You just say 2 words. They're like, oh my God, I never thought of that. And yeah, they DM you a half hour later. That was it. There's a high about it. I can't explain it any other way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where can you find me? I am the only spot you can find me is on Instagram. Butterfly. I like I said, this was as an outlet for me, but it's come to be a little bit better because I have interacted with a lot of people. So that's nice, but it's at _HVAC _Foodie, FOODIE. You can see some of the cool equipment that I work on and some of the meals that I try to make, and
some of those great adventures with your Lunch King partner, Josh.
There you go. And like I said, if you're ever in my neck of the woods in the greater Toronto area, Hamilton,
other Josh,
the other Josh. If you're ever in the Hamilton area or and if I can meet you up for lunch to talk about anything, man, I'm there for you.
Oh, that's really awesome, man. I appreciate that. The audience, I'm sure listeners appreciate that. And likewise to you too. All right. An invitation from me. If you're ever down in the desert of Arizona, or you ever get tired of the fucking cold, where you are, feel free to hit me up, man. We'll I'll take you out for a brew or whatever, for lunch, dinner.
Well, I want to go to the McDonald's with the
Blue Arc.
Yeah.
In Sedona.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
man. I've been there a few times. Yeah.
Wait, I want Josh to get us reservations at a certain place. Some Phantoms are there.
Oh, Phantom Ranch. Another story for another day, my friend.
Exactly.
We'll have to ride some mules down there, but it'll be a good time. Don't worry about it.
We get the Windy City helicopter to drop us off.
There we go.
I'll fill you in on that one later.
There we go. Maybe once I start monetizing the podcast, or get some sponsors to pay for the helicopter.
There we go.
Oh man. Hey guys, I really appreciate your time today, and I know that my listeners will as well. Don't hang up when we end the call. Let's just stay behind for just a minute so we can say our goodbyes. But thank you so much to you both for coming on the show.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Thank you, Josh. This has been an absolute blast. Thank you.
All right. Take care, guys.